There's a new Moped-Style e-bike in the shop for review today. It has a 750 watt brushless hub motor, a full suspension frame, disc brakes, a quoted top speed of 28 miles an hour, and not one, but two batteries for a grand total of 34 amp hours of battery juice. They say here on the website that this bike can go 45 miles throttle only and up to 120 miles if you put in some pedal power yourself. We'll see about that when we take the bike outside for a spin and test out all of these. So let's give the batteries a quick top up before we go outside. And check this out. You get a main 20 amp hour battery up here and a secondary 14 amp hour battery up here. You can run them together or separate, one at a time. It's up to you. And here's something I don't see often. Both batteries have their own chargers. They're 2 amp chargers, so the bottom battery will take 7 hours to charge and the top battery 10 hours. Nice. Here's one. And two. Let's start out back. The bike rolls on a set of 20 by 4 inch wide Chow Yang tires. These also have the hippo skin layer, so they're nice and strong and puncture resistant. For the drivetrain, the X70 comes with a Shimano 7-speed derailleur with a protective cage, a 7-speed Shimano cassette, some Jansno cranks, and some generic metal pedals. The bike comes supplied with plastic fenders, front and back. The brushless hub motor that's integrated inside this mag wheel is rated 48 volt at 750 watts. And those of you that want to see it, here's all the information on the battery. This is the smaller 14 amp hour one. And here's the big boy 20 amp hour battery. Now this is a full suspension frame, so there is a rear shock right underneath the seat. The air shock is hidden back here, but this one has no settings whatsoever. There's no rebound, no lockout switch, and there's no air valve to pump in more air if you want to make it stiffer. Let's just hope that when we take out the bike, it's not set up too stiff or too soft. The bike comes with a rear taillight. You can have it on or off. It's got turn signals on each side, and when you hit the brakes, this gets even brighter. There's also a license plate holder if you wanted to put a customized plate on there. Here's what the seat looks like. I don't think this is real leather, but it feels really nice and soft. It's wide and it looks super comfortable. Moving up the frame, here's the bottom bracket for the 14 amp hour battery. And here's the one up top right in front of the seat for the main 20 amp hour battery. Cool thing with this bike is it comes with mag wheels. They're never gonna loosen up, they're never gonna wobble on you. This wheel will be bomb-proof for the entire life of the bike. And zooming out here, you get a nice thick pair of triple clamp forks. Looks like they have at least 100 to 120 millimeters of travel. Here's a closer look at the LED headlight. The halo here lights up, and it looks like you get a high and a low beam to switch between. Here's the turn signal. It's flexy. If you ever were to hit it while you're storing the bike in the garage or moving it around, they're never gonna break on you. They're just gonna move out of the way and then bounce right back in. Looks like you get some foam here on the side of the fork. This is to protect the battery when you're turning. Here's what the top of the fork looks like. There's no adjustments here and none back here either. Just like the rear suspension, there's no adjustments on the front fork either. Take a look at all these spacers on the steer tube right underneath the stem. That's pretty cool. I guess if you find the handlebars being too high, you could lower them easily. Looks like the stem's pretty long, so if you did find it a little bit too much of a reach, if you're a smaller rider, you could easily get a shorter stem for this bike. And the handlebars up top are cruiser style. They've got a nice big rise and a little bit of a back sweep, so you're not reaching too far forward for them. Taking a look at the controls here, you get some ergonomic grips. They're pretty stiff rubber and they're not lock-on. You get a quarter twist throttle with ignition key. And here's your 7-speed Shimano shifter. And up front, here's the cable actuated brake lever. And check it out, in the box they give you a phone holder. It adjusts to any size phone you have, and you can flip it in landscape or keep it vertical. Up to you. Also in the box, they give you a set of tools to put the bike together and perform some basic maintenance. And they also give you a little cable lock. I'm not going to install it on the bike here. I'm going to keep it in the accessory box. On the left here, you've got the same ergonomic grip. Again, pretty stiff rubber, no lock on. You've got a remote here for your lights, on and off, your turn signals, left and right, and your horn. And over here, you've got your remote and display all built into one. Plus and minus buttons for your pedal assist modes. Power button to turn the bike on and off. And as you click the power button, it'll cycle through the modes. I think we're about ready to turn the bike on. Okay, let's hit the power button. On the screen here, you get your speed at the top, the level of pedal assist you're in, low, medium, and high. You get your odometer, your trip, and you even get the voltage that's left in the battery. Nice. Okay, let's turn on the headlight. All right, nice sharp projector style headlight. Actually really bright. This should do really well out in the dark. Here's what the turn signals look like. And here's the tail light off, on, brake application, and turn signals. Okay, both batteries are topped up. We're ready to go outside. Let's take it out for a spin for the test drive. Today we're aboard the Jansno X70. Let's find out if it's really worth your money. Okay, here we go. Time for the hill climb. There's my fire hydrant. I've got it in the highest pedal assist. Let's go throttle only up this 15% grade hill. Let's see what kind of speed we can get up to right off the bat before the hill really starts. So I got about 18 miles an hour here before the hill starts. I'm gonna try to keep it throttle only. If it dips below 6 to 5 miles an hour, I'm gonna start helping it with pedaling, but 10 miles an hour. So let's just say that it's not the fastest bike uphill, but it does do it. It's a heavy bike, right? It's got dual batteries, long range, but the little 48 volt motor is struggling, but it's doing it. You know, I've got 11, 12 miles an hour. There we go, a little steeper here at the end. 9. There you go. So overall, not bad. For 48 volts, it's kind of average. There's 48 volt bikes that are much lighter than this one. This one's pretty heavy duty. It's got a big steel frame that's super heavy, 2 batteries that tack on the weight, right? So I think it's pretty close to 100 pounds if I'm not mistaken, plus the rider weight, right? So it did okay. Let's see what kind of speed we can get downhill. See if this motor's actually governed to a certain speed. Woo! All right, 32, 34, 35, 36 miles an hour downhill. Nice. Okay, time for the acceleration test. There's my lamp pole I usually start at. And if you guys see the little driveway that's up ahead here, if this bike can get to 20 miles an hour before that driveway, it's a fast bike. And if it can't get to 20 miles an hour before that driveway, well, it's got some work to do. Maybe for version 2.0, we'll see. I've got in the highest pedal assist. I'm gonna go throttle only. 3, 2, 1, go. 9, 11, 13, 14, 16, 17 miles an hour. It's close, but as far as acceleration goes, it doesn't have a ton of torque, doesn't have a ton of acceleration, but it's nice and smooth. It's gradual. And I think, see, like right now I'm nearing the 22, 23 miles an hour, so I do have it unlocked. I'm going to show you guys exactly how to do that right after we get onto Test Drive Island. All right, time to find out what you guys all came here for. So from what I've seen, this bike has been able to go over 25 miles an hour. With me on it though, who knows how fast it's actually going to go. But just before we find out the exact top speed of this thing, let me show you how to unlock the bike. Right under here, the bike has a little dangling cable. This is what you want to unplug to unlock the bike. It's super, super simple. You just push on the clip, pull the cable apart, and there you go. Your bike is now unlocked. I've got it in pedal assist 3, which is the highest right now. I'm gonna go throttle only. 3, 2, 1, go. This is gonna be a good test here to see if the speedometer is accurate. I've got my GPS on the right here on the phone. Speedometer says 23. GPS a little behind. Okay, 25 miles an hour. 26. Any faster? 27. Speedometer says 28. 28 miles an hour. Nice. I like it when brands actually don't over embellish how fast their bikes can go. Let's see how this feels as far as handling goes. Oh yeah. This bike is just so comfortable. Like the sitting position on here is just awesome. I'm 5'9" by the way, and I've got the bar set up a little bit back. They're nice and high. The seat is so comfortable. It's nice and wide. It's not the thickest material I've ever sat on, but it's very flat, it's comfortable, it's wide, and there's a little bit of a lip at the back that kind of stops your butt from going backwards, so you just settle into it. It's absolutely primo. Very nice. Just feels so good with the dual suspension, the little tires. I love this kind of bike. Okay, so bikes like these are not designed to be pedaled. They have pedals, but they're kind of just for show, because these little bikes are set up to be like mini motorcycles, right? You sit on them, they're nice and comfortable, you've got a throttle, you've got really good speed. The pedals are really just there for show, so you can go into the bike lanes, onto the bike paths, and share them with all the other commuters out there. So bikes like this are really not meant to be pedaled, but I'm gonna show you anyways, and I'll let you know how comfortable it actually is to pedal. So let's get going. I've got the bike set up in pedal assist 0, so this should give me no power at all. I'm not gonna use a throttle. I've got it in the granny gear, and it's not fun. No good at all. So let's go to pedal assist 1. I'm gonna drop a couple gears here. Gear number 4. Pedal assist 1 brings me up to about 12 miles an hour. Pedal assist 2, I'm gonna drop another couple gears. Now this is a cadence sensor, so literally all I have to do is rotate the cranks and the bike gives me power. So I'm not even pushing against the gears right now. This is all motor, but I'm spinning my legs. 23.5 miles an hour. And let's go to pedal assist 3. Drop all the gears. Let's see how fast we can push this thing. 26, 27, 28. 30 miles an hour. I saw it, you saw it. 30 miles an hour. Not bad. I was not expecting this. I was expecting 25, 26 miles an hour from a bike like this. I mean, this is only $1,000, right? Not bad. So guys, as always, I'm doing this review for you. The tests I'll be doing with the bike today are to show you exactly how fast this bike is, how well it climbs hills, how well it stops or not. I'm gonna touch on a couple of points as far as ride comfort and things like that, but I really can't show you those. You're gonna have to trust me on that. My job today is not to tell you to go buy this bike. My job today is show you everything I can about the bike, so that if it is the bike for you, you can click on the link in the description, head right to their website. I'll guarantee you the best price with any discount codes that are available, and then everyone's happy, right? Okay, if you guys have seen any of my other videos, this is where I do all my brake tests. There's the post I want to stop at. I've got 20 feet to the first post. This is where I'm gonna slam on the brakes once I reach top speed with this bike, which was close to 30 miles an hour. I don't know. I'll probably get anywhere between 25 to 30 miles an hour, and I'll slam on the brakes here. My whole philosophy with brakes on bikes like this is they need enough braking power to stop the bike from whatever speed it goes before 20 feet. I figure 20 feet is more than enough distance to come to a stop if something was to happen in front of you. So let's get going. I'm gonna turn around, see if I can get close to 30 miles an hour, and then I'll slam on the brakes. Let's do it. Okay, this should give me plenty of time to get up to 25 to 30 miles an hour. And I'm gonna pedal just to make sure I get there. 16, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and oh, okay. Woo, smells like burnt rubber. Verdict here for our brake test. I went past the 20-foot marker, which means that this bike fails for brakes. A heavy bike like this that can go this fast should have better brakes. You guys heard the rear brake locked up back there. What didn't slow me down enough is the front brake. The front brake does most of the braking. When you brake, all the weight goes forward, and if your front brake isn't strong enough to slow down, it just keeps rolling. And a 160 mil rotor with cable actuated disc brakes on a 100-pound bike with dual batteries is not enough, in my opinion, right? I mean, if you guys have other opinions, let me know in the comments, but in my opinion, a bike this heavy that goes this fast should definitely have better brakes, especially up front. I mean, you could put a 180 mil rotor up front and it would bite harder, right? You could put hydraulic disc brakes and charge people 50 to 100 bucks more. They would happily pay it. Just my 2 cents. So the X70 is a moped-style e-bike with dual suspension and off-road tires. So let's take it off-road and maybe we'll get it onto the beach. Let's see how it goes. Here we go. Okay. You know what? So far, this thing is actually really comfortable off-road. The suspension is really soft up front, and there's no way to stiffen it up. So you're just stuck with a really soft front suspension, which is okay if you want the bumps to go away. All right, oh, the tide is all the way up. Are we gonna be able to get on the beach? Oh yeah, let's see how we go. All right. We made it. So the X70 has a lot going for it, especially at the price point it's at right now. When this thing came out, it was at $29.99, $3,000. But over the few months it's been out, it's had a bunch of price reductions to match the market, and it's down to $10.99 right now, which is insane when you consider you get 34 amp hours of battery life. That's a dual battery bike for $1,000 bucks. That's absolutely insane. You get a full suspension bike that's nice and comfortable, and you get a bike that's outfitted with every accessory you could possibly want. It comes with a lock, it comes with a phone holder, it comes with all the tools you need, it comes with lights, built-in lights, nice and bright lights too, turn signals, fenders. You get everything you need to get up and going with this bike for a smidge over $1,000 bucks. That's good value. And this bike reminds me of a few other bikes that I've been able to review over the last year. For one, the Fukair Gemini X, another dual battery bike with 20-inch wheels. Really fun bike. This one was only front suspension though. It's got a really cool looking frame, dual batteries, hydraulic disc brakes. It was a really fun bike to ride. And that's in the $1,300 range. The other one that comes to mind is the Himiway M20. I'm sure you guys have seen that one. It's one of the most popular budget moped-style e-bikes on the market right now. And right now the dual battery version is $1149, so a little bit more expensive than this one. And to be honest, it's got much less battery juice. It's only 26 amp hours, whereas this is 34. So again, Jansno is going for value with this bike. And then finally, if you can afford a little bit more, the Aoki bikes are definitely hard to touch when you want something with huge range, very, very good brakes, and all the features you want. The Aoki A8 that I reviewed recently is on for $17.99. Yeah, I know it's almost double the price, but it's a 60 amp hour battery. It's almost double the amount of battery this has. Full suspension, hydraulic disc brakes, and a bomb-proof, super comfy frame. So if you guys are after a really long-range moped-style e-bike, check these out. But the X70 right now for $10.99 is hard to beat. 34 amp hours of battery life, full suspension, everything you need to get going. Come on. So let's talk a little bit about ride and bike quality for the Jansno X70 here. First off, let's talk about the contact points. The pedals, they're metal, which is nice. They're gonna last long. They don't have a ton of grip, but it really doesn't matter. This bike is just designed to cruise, so you just sit and it's just somewhere to place your feet. The grips, they're ergonomic, they're stiff plastic, so they're really not that grippy, right? I can only imagine with gloves on, they'd be even more slippery. And they're not lock-on, they slide. So if it was me and my bike, I would probably get better grips, some lock-on ones, something nice and grippy, even with gloves, but that's just me. And then finally, the seat. The seat is actually really, really comfortable. It's not as thick as some of the higher end bikes I've been on, like the Ride 1-Up or the Lyric Graffiti, but it's a good shape. And if you slide all the way back, check this out. You slide all the way back and there's a nice little lip on the back there. You just kind of sit your butt in there and it's really, really comfortable. I really enjoy this seat. I can see myself sitting on this thing for hours, just cruising around, no problems. Now, for the electronics of the bike, let's touch on the motor. The motor's a 48-volt motor. It's got a decent amount of torque. You guys saw, I mean, it got me up the hill. Not very fast though, right? It only did about 10, 11 miles an hour up that hill. It is a tough hill, it's a long hill, it's nice and sustained, but it's a good test. This bike would do a lot better if it was 52 volt, but maybe the X70 2.0. For a 48 volt bike though, it did all right. The batteries, look at this. I've got 34 amp hours of batteries on this bike. I've done 11 miles so far in my ride today, and I haven't even gone down a single battery bar. So I bet you with a little bit of pedaling and some nice flat riding, I could easily get 40 to 50 miles of riding on this bike with both batteries, no problems. And then touching on the screen's nice and simple. It's a basic LCD. It's a simple design, but it's easy to see in the sun. I really enjoy this. And it's got everything you could possibly want. And it's nice and simple, not like those other bikes that have 5 or 9 different pedal assist modes. This thing just has 3, low, medium, high, right? You wanna go slow, you wanna go medium, or you wanna go fast. It's up to you, you just tell it what you wanna do. For the speed, it got up to 28 miles an hour. I had to pedal a little bit, but it got up there, right? So really, really decent for the price. I think it's a good bike as far as electronics go. The suspension of the bike, it's okay. I'm gonna give it like a 7 out of 10. It's scoring that high because it is comfortable, but it's comfortable for a person my size. If you're over 200 pounds, if you're 250, 300 pounds, I'm sure this thing has a weight limit around 330. If you're north of 250, you're gonna bottom out these forks. They have no settings on them, and they're fairly soft out of the factory. And then it's the exact opposite for the rear suspension. The rear suspension's actually fairly stiff. I mean, I can make it go up and down, But if you're lighter than I am, like 150 or even lighter, you're gonna have a hard time making that thing work. So there's kind of a disconnect there. I wish there was some sort of adjustment. You know, air suspension forks are not that expensive nowadays on Amazon. You can get a D&M fork on Amazon right now that's very inexpensive and that's super easy to tune. All you have to do is pump it up to the right air pressure based on your weight, and it's perfectly set up. You can set up the front and the back that way. The suspension is super smooth, and most of them come with rebound as well, so you don't get that springy feel. It's nice and damped. Oh, I almost forgot. You also get an ignition switch. Without this key here in the bike is dead on arrival. There's no power going to it. So if you're gonna lock your bike up, even if they cut the lock, they're not gonna be able to turn your bike on. They need the key. So that's a really nice added layer of security. Right, so $1 million question. Who is the Jansno X70 really for? The short answer is for someone that wants a comfortable bike that's meant to be ridden as a mini motorcycle, that can go far, decently fast, and that only costs a little bit over $1,000. If you fit that bill, head down to the description. The first link there will take you right to Jansno's website and guarantee you the best price on the X70 right now. Also, if Jansno is nice enough to give us a discount code, it'll be right underneath the link, so don't forget to use it. It'll save you a little bit extra money. And guys, if the Jansno X70 is not the right bike for you, no big deal. Maybe the bike in this video will be more what you're looking for. I'll see you guys over there.